minis. This will be our premiere video for the channel, and we're going to be painting the Vindicare Assassin Operative Umbral 6 model today. This only took a few hours to do. I'm going to show you step by step how to achieve this same style and look for your games of 40K on the tabletop. Let's get started. We started this model with a zenithal base coat. For those of you who don't know what a zenithal is, it's essentially just black sprayed with a white from above. This is going to start us off nicely for our contrast paints that we're going to be using. The one that we're going to be using first is a custom mix. It is 50% Black Templar from Games Workshop and 50% Beowulf Blue from Army Painter's Speed Paint line. You're going to want to add a couple of drops of contrast medium along with this, and this is just going to help mix the two together and make it spread a little bit nicer over the miniature. We're going to be using 2 coats of this on the mini to make sure that it darkens down enough, and then we'll bring up those highlights a little bit later in the next steps. Next, we coat the gun in Slaughter Red, a speed paint from Army Painter. This has been my go-to for red surfaces, and it covers extremely well. For the pouches and straps, we're going to be basing it in a Darkwood speed paint, also from Army Painter. Don't worry if it pulls over the black just a little bit, it's just going to enhance the shadows that we've already built from the original contrast paint. Moving on to the scope and silencer, I tried using just a Black Templar contrast paint, but it didn't cover quite as well for me, so I had to go back with pure Abaddon Black from Citadel and coat them up properly. The last base coat with the contrast paints is the scaffolding he's standing on. I already darkened it down with Black Templar contrast paint. This does not need to be neat as we're going to be coming back in later with metallics to coat the structure. Next we're going to start highlighting our black to bring out some of the shapes of the mini. We're going to start by mixing 50-50 Black Templar contrast paint with Citadel Optic Blue. We're just going to hit the tops of the muscles just to highlight them, bringing it out. And then we're going to add a little bit more of that blue into that same mix, and we're going to hit it just a little bit lighter toward the tops, bringing out more of those highlights. Moving to the pouches, we're going to be using 2 colors to finish these off. The first is going to be our base coat of chocolate brown from Model Color. We'll just go ahead and cover all the pouches and straps with this, and then we're going to go in with Bagman's Glow from Games Workshop and apply a highlight to all of these areas. For the mask, I just used 1 layer of Bright Ivory from Pro Acryl. This is by far my favorite white paint. Covers fantastic. Highly recommend using it in any of y'all's minis. Just to paint the pipes and the buttons on the back, I used the base coat of dark green from AK Interactive, and then highlighted it with Kraken Skin from Army Painter. This green is a great accent color to use since we're already using so much red on the model, and I highly recommend using those 2 colors together on your minis whenever possible. Moving to the metallics, we're using Lead Belcher from Citadel on the metal bits, on the mini, and the weapons. We're going to use this on the scaffolding as well to base it. Just brushing over all the raised parts is going to make it look metallic, and then save us from having to go back into those recesses with a wash. With the main body done, we're going to tackle the head of the statue. This will look amazing with only one technique for all of it. To get the aged, war-torn look of a monument, we're just going to be dry brushing lightly with Golden Griffin from Citadel. Building this up will give a perfectly aged look to the metal, really make it pop. And we're going to contrast the halo and the bars with a different metallic. We're going to use a rich gold from Pro Acryl, and then having the 2 different metals side by side is really going to look fantastic and aged on this particular mini. And that is it for the base of it. Next, we're going to heavily water down our dark green from earlier. We're just going to brush this deliberately like a wash into the recesses. This will be a little bit more opaque, so be careful not to just cover it up like a wash, as it will tint all of the mini. A little goes a long way with this step. If you overdo it though, you can always go back and dry brush over any part that you put too much. And then make sure to hit the scaffolding as well, just to blend the entire piece together. And then for the final optional step, we're going to base this and give it a snowy environment. I use spring soil on the ground to give it a start, and then that's 50% of the entire base done. Next is just going to be my snow recipe. I just used the Army Painter snow beads mixed with a gloss varnish. This will stick it to the mini and also maintain a nice shine once it's dry. And then you're going to want to apply this pretty generously to the base and then just to the tops of the statue in the flat parts where snow would naturally want to fall. That brings us to the end of the video today. Thank you guys so much for making it to the end. If you'd like to see more upcoming content, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you can get notified when the videos go live. If you're interested in watching any of this happen, We do also stream twice a week on Twitch. Feel free to click the link in the bio, and that will take you right to the page. You can check the schedule. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I look forward to making more content for y'all. Have a good one.